Welcome to Does the Team Think? Vic Reeves and welcome to Does the Team Think, the programme where a panel of flamboyant light entertainment mongrels answer questions posed by you, the audience. We're joined by the man who discovered the lost posture of the borough people. It's Jack D. And the jaundiced and malformed self-claimed King of Norway, Julian Clary. Who's this? It's the woman who put the P in panties. Ulrika Jonsson. And fresh from his hideout in the mountains of grief, Bob Mortimer. So, let's start off this realm of questions now from our first questionnaire. That lady there washing the other man's face. What's your name and what's your question?
My name is Debbie, and what's the worst lie the team have ever told?
What's the worst lie the team has ever told? Well, Ulrika, you're an illegal immigrant. What lies did you come up with when you tried to get into the country?
Actually, I think the worst lie I ever told was, I do. Clearly I didn't.
So do you tell lies generally in day-to-day life? Not white lies? You must have told a few.
No, I'm really very rubbish at lying.
Do you think you get caught out when you lie?
You always...
Who farted? Julian, do you lie much? Have you told any terrible lies?
No, I learnt at quite an early age that lying doesn't pay off, and one lie leads to another and so on. And I was 11 years old and I had... Why are you laughing already?
Because it's going to be very funny.
I don't know.
You just know it, don't you, with that cheeky smirk on his face.
But it's true story. I had double maths lesson and I hadn't done my homework, or I knew I was going to fail a test or something. And it was preceded by a gymnastics class. So I jumped over the horse and I thought all this out before, and I landed on my bottom. And I said suddenly to the teacher, I said, I can't see. I said, I've gone blind. And did all this staring into the distance. And so an ambulance was called, and my parents were called to the hospital in Ealing, and by which time I'd then missed the maths test, so I no longer needed to be blind. And I couldn't think of a way out of the situation, and the doctor was looking very kind of cynically at me, but no, they couldn't actually prove that I was blind. And so I shut my eyes for a minute and I opened them and I said, oh, I can see again. And no one was having any of it, and it was a lesson in life that lying and I do not go together well.
Bob, what about you? Have you lied?
I never lie, Vic.
You lie constantly.
I do, you're right.
I've never known a bigger liar, to be honest.
I said I'd be a good guest for the show, didn't I? I told me kids I was the Fist of Fury. And they kind of bought into it, and now they realise it isn't. I've lost their trust in that.
I told my children for a long time that I was a strongman in the circus, and they still believe it. Now they're in the 40s. Jack, you must lie constantly.
Well, no, not constantly. No, Vic. I resent that. I did once lie at a party when I was about 15, and I was trying to talk to a girl, and to get her to talk back to me, I said that my girlfriend had died. And well, when you say was it the worst lie you'd ever told? In one sense, it was the best lie I ever told, because she let me put my hand in her bra. So.
Was she lying?
Probably, yeah, because she was a bloke in the end.
It's not quite a lie, Vic, but when I was young and still believed in Santa Claus, I got up first, and in my brother's pile there was a Spanish guitar, and in my pile there was some paper drum kit from Woolworths, and I thought, well, I'm first up, and I swapped them. which was difficult for the parents to...
So you got the Spanish guitar?
I took the Spanish guitar, yeah, then it had to be explained to me that it was a wrongdoing. And
yeah, hand it back.
Well, no, I have a memory of it. I'm not really going anywhere with it, but, like, it wasn't quite a lie, but I made it a very awkward and silly Christmas because of that.
Did you say, I should have the Spanish guitar because I am Placido Domingo?
But generally, no lies from me, mate.
Well, that's good. Let's move on to the next question then, and it's from the naked man there holding the rolling pin.
My name's Dan. Who does the team think they'd least like to be stuck in a lift with?
Who does the team think they'd least like to be stuck in a lift with? A leper? Maybe? A leopard? Julian, who have you been stuck in a lift with that you didn't really like?
I haven't, so I'm having to use my imagination. I mean, obviously, anyone with, like, double incontinence would be awful. Or a cannibal would be terrible, depending on how long you're stuck in the lift with. Or the Fist of Fury.
Ulrika, what about you? Stuck in a lift with whom?
Well, it doesn't really matter. Stuck in a lift full stop would be the end of me. I get claustrophobic.
Dear.
I
So
do.
you'd be in trouble with yourself.
I would be in big trouble with myself. But with maybe a pert new pair of breasts, I might.
So you might like to get stuck in a lift with a plastic surgeon who's got his kit on him.
A little scalpel.
You don't want bigger boobies.
I want
now,
them
do you?
smaller, you...
Oh, you want them smaller, you want them shrunk?
Yes.
Yeah, but you don't want it done in a lift.
No, I want...
It's not
I want a
hygienic.
breast uplift.
So you
That's
wouldn't
what I
want to be
want.
in a lift with a bad plastic surgeon?
For me, it's easy. John McCrillick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Could you imagine the mixture of sweat and Febreze? Do you know what I mean? That would linger and eventually suffocate you. I don't. It's a bit rotten to say that, but you know, that's what I think of with lifts. It's like it's the perspiration, the bulk of the man,
It's horrible.
Yeah.
the sheer negligence of the man with his personal hygiene.
There's no getting away from them.
What about you, Jack? You must have been in lifts with many people in your time.
I have. I absolutely have. I was once in a lift a long, long time ago in Liverpool with and Paul McCartney got in to the lift, and and I was starstruck as you would be. And do you know what I actually said to him? Because I shouldn't have said anything, but it was in the silence. You feel you have to come up with something. And do you know what I said to him?
Go on, tell us.
I said, so have you been to Liverpool before? And it was one of those... I almost saw the words coming out of my mouth and tried to stop them, but it was too late, and...
What was his response?
the door opened and he just looked at me with contempt and left.
Let's move on to the next question. And it's the gentleman there, sitting next to the milksop holding the quill. What's your name and what's your question, darling?
My name's Alistair, and my question is, does the team think they'd enjoy time travel?
Oh, does the team think they'd enjoy time travel? I'd like to travel sideways through time. Which, I suppose, means a parallel universe, doesn't it, Ulrika? Is that controversial of me?
Always controversial. Time travel...
Where would you like to go back? Do you like to go back in time or forward?
Not forward, definitely.
You wouldn't like to see
back.
how you
I
end
like
up?
to go back to sort of... I quite like the idea of just post-World War II.
Really?
Yeah.
How very dreary.
You'll be rationing.
I know, but I quite like the...
What, 1946?
May.
Oh, I'd love to go back to 1946. Why?
No, probably a bit after that. Say...
What, 48?
47. 48.
You'd like to see the beginnings of the NHS. Just see that.
That's what I'm looking at, yeah.
See the building
And
the
lots
hospitals.
of leftover American
So if you had a
soldiers.
time machine and you had to pick a year, you'd go back to 1948.
Yeah. I really think I would.
What would you do in 19... Where would
Or
you go?
1927.
Oh, now you're talking. Where would you go in 1927?
Oh, I don't know. Lots of balls.
No, you're living... You just want to go at the
I
pictures.
think you need
No,
more of a plan, really, Ulrika, if you're going to go
I'd
into
like
this
to
time
do-
travel thing, because you're just being
She
vague.
just wants to go at the pictures to
No, I
see
think that's
Brideshead
quite-
Revisited, really,
No,
didn't
I
she?
don't-
It's no good going to time travel. Oh, I don't care where I end up.
No, I do care
And
very
then
much.
pick
I'd like to
a
be-
rubbish year.
Would you want to be
end up.
in Sweden or in the mother country?
I'd like to be in England.
In England?
Yes.
Sweden wasn't there in 1927.
But it was called Norway. Julian, would you travel back in time or forward?
Oh, if I had such a machine, you wouldn't see me for dust. I'd be backwards and forwards.
Oh.
I think I'd like to go to lots of places. Berlin in the early 30s when it was all decadent.
Oh, right, yeah.
And sex and drugs everywhere. That would be an experience, wouldn't
That's
it?
what you're looking for, then, yeah.
Be just like the 80s.
What about you, Jack?
I wouldn't mind going back 10 minutes into the future, just so I could use that as an act on stage and just thrill people by saying I know what's going to happen in 10 minutes, and then we all sit there and then it turns out I'm right. Or you could just, win the lottery and make a mint and not bother with it anymore, the old time travel. But the only thing about time travel is if you're going to indulge, you have to make sure you can get back. It doesn't matter if you go forward or back, you've got to make sure you get back to the present day, because otherwise you'll go into a different time zone and no one will believe you, and everyone will just think you're mad, and you're left there thinking that. Because if you turn up and say, I'm from the future, what are they going to say?
I haven't a clue what you're talking about,
no,
to be honest.
But you would if you had travelled through time as I have.
I'd like to go back to wherever it was, probably a hut or a shed, where the man invented the tie. When he got it, put a knot in it and thought,
good idea.
Do you know what I mean?
I'd
like to see that catching on and following him, see, like, how's he going to flog this? You put it around your neck, put a knot in it, and it'll make you look formal. That kind of thing.
Wouldn't you like to go like 3,000 years into the future when we all look like pencils? Anyway, well, let's move on to the next question. It's the lady there, the pugnacious lady there with the fanatical beret.
Hello.
What's your name and what's your question?
My name's Veronica. Does the team think that being competitive is an attractive character trait?
Is being competitive an attractive character trait? Ulrika, do you try and win the bike races round your flats?
I'm very...
You're very competitive, actually.
I'm absolutely not.
You are.
I'm not.
I've seen you in the sack race. Do you do Strictly Come Dancing?
I did it on ice, darling. Those girls and boys have got it easy.
Yes.
I put skates on.
How did you get on?
I went out in show 3.
You're bow-legged though, Ulrika. I should think the skates were at the wrong
Apparently
angle.
that's meant to be really good.
Oh, absolutely.
The skaters, some of the best skaters are bow-legged. I couldn't stop a pig in a passage. But I was also... I'm not very competitive. Are you competitive?
Are you competitive then, Julian?
I didn't think I was. I remember playing rugby, and my kit never needed washing from one week to the next. Not a splash of mud on it. But then I did Strictly Come Dancing, and
Oh, that's right. So
yes.
there was no competition there then.
I got through to the final.
Bob, are you competitive? No, not in the slightest.
Thank you. I once scored a goal, 1-0. Yay!
Of course, you're a professional footballer once.
I was a very pretty footballer, yeah.
Yeah, professional footballer for Middlesbrough United.
But I was an apprentice and they didn't take me on full time.
Why didn't they take you on?
Because I was very tall as a kid.
Are you competitive, Jack? Scrabble?
Well, I'm not competitive enough. I started playing tennis for a while, and I just I had a few lessons and that, and then I was playing a game with someone, and about halfway through I just thought, what's the point of this? Honestly, it's pathetic. Trying to hit a ball into a square and stop the other person hitting it back. The whole point of tennis is you hit it to each other, isn't it? Don't spoil the game by hitting the ball away from me. 3 most competitive people I know, and I shouldn't name names.
No,
I will name them because we're on radio. The 3 most competitive people I know, I think, are Seb Coe, Mike Tyson, and Wendy Craig. And of them all, Wendy is viciously competitive. It was her I was playing when the tennis thing happened.
She lives in my village.
Yeah, well,
She was born in the street I was born in.
Yeah, but she makes a lovely lemon drizzle cake.
Does she really?
Does.
That she really is at the peak and the top of her career, because if you can make one of them...
It's not as nice as Mike Tyson's drizzle cake. That is really something.
Really? So he's in the lead now above Wendy Craig?
Yeah.
Because mine's rubbish, but that may be because I use turpentine. Lemon. Anyway, let's have another question. Who's next? Yes, that lady loath to raise her head from her Sudoku machine. What's your name and what's your question?
My name is Alison, and my question is, does the team think that owning a pet is a bonus to their lives?
Does the team think that owning a pet is a bonus to their lives? From Alice, is it Alison? With the 3-foot shins? Jack, I expect you've got a kestrel or something like that to cheer you up.
They say it is. Apparently, if you have a pet, you live longer, don't you? Because
I don't know.
I actually think that's because it just reminds old people to go and buy food. Because if you've just got a little dog or cat scratching you, saying they're hungry, it makes you think, oh, I better go and get some food, and that way you don't end up eating cardboard boxes on Christmas Day.
What?
So yes, it does. It's good for you.
You've got a polar bear, haven't you?
I have. No, I haven't anymore. I had an owl.
An owl?
Yeah. And
a howl?
I had a howling owl. I had an owl and I got rid of it, but I bumped into it the other day. He said, how are we getting on? He said, I've just got engaged. I said, your twits are who? That's just a joke. I had a lovely
What
joke.
did you say? That's just a joke?
That's simply a
I would
joke.
never have guessed.
It wasn't true then.
It wasn't true.
Oh.
I tried to buy that owl.
That's the worst lie you've ever told.
Was it a barn owl?
Vic, you once told me that what you would like to cook, given the chance and given a different world that we lived in, you'd like to eat an owl's face.
I did say that. And since then, I have eaten an owl's face. Well, I shall tell you a fact about barn owls. If you're walking along a lane at night and a barn owl follows you, it will only follow you if you've got a Twix in your top pocket.
Julian, you keep chickens, don't you, Joe? Do you think
I've
they're
got
bonus
chickens.
pets or not?
Oh, no, they're very much pets.
Yeah.
There's no bonus eggs yet, though.
You don't ride them or anything.
But they keep changing sex. I thought I had 6 hens, but it turns out Margaret and Maureen are having gender reassignment. I've got more cocks than I know what to do with.
It was only a matter of time. Right, next question's there for the kid with the raccoon. What's your name? What's your question?
Hello, my name is Andrew. Does the team...
Darren what?
Andrew.
Oh, I thought you said Darren Droop. sounds like a name of sort of like glam rocker, like that, or Albert Sixpence. Andrew, what's your question?
Does the team play an instrument? And if not, what instrument would you like to play?
Does the team play an instrument? And if not, what instrument would they like to play? Bang, pluck, or blow? Julian.
When I was a child, I used to do. I couldn't read and write properly. I used to write mirror writing. You know, where you write backwards and you have to hold it up to the mirror to see what you were saying. And when
You were blind.
when I learnt the piano, I used to play the piano backwards as well. Somehow, I used to read the notes backwards.
That's quite a skill. Can you still do it?
No, I can't. That was all sorted out. There was some sort of cranial problem, obviously.
Was your brain facing the wrong way round?
I don't know what it was all about, but...
Was your teacher mirrored?
No, my teacher's Mrs. Keyboard. And,
Mrs.
Keyboard?
She was a keyboard. She was 87, and but she used to say, "No, that's not right. I'll show you how to do it." But her hands were completely doubled over like this with arthritis, and so she couldn't play either.
So in your musical world, everything's facing backwards.
She couldn't play, I couldn't play. So no, I've not been blessed.
Anyway, Ulrika, do you play an instrument?
I play the guitar, yeah.
Oh, of course you do. You do folk singing, don't you, around the fireside at the club?
Do you pluck?
I do. And strum.
Pluck, strum, or pick?
Pick.
So what can you... Are you any good?
I think I used to be. I just really haven't played for a very long time now. But my son now plays on my guitar.
Is he any good?
He's very good, yeah.
Is
he's
he?
Cool.
What's Sweden's national instrument? The cobblestone.
What is it anyway? Do you know? We've all got national instruments.
It's ABBA.
You don't have a national instrument. What's
Yeah,
your
everywhere. I'll tell you what, an interesting thing. Everywhere has a national instrument, but do you know the Maoris were the last people to get a go at what the national instrument would be? So they got left with the drum machine. So what is the Swedish national instrument?
And England has what?
Well, England, of course, has the float.
Float?
What is the English national instrument? Anyone know?
Maybe you're right, Ulrika.
Does anyone know what the English national instrument is? The what? The gin and tonic.
The lute. Maybe that, yeah.
The lute, the flute.
That's not...
Who cares?
Was that a guess or was it true? Yeah. Well, do you mind? Because you're not helping.
We'd like to deal in facts, thank you, sir.
Jack, can you play an instrument?
I
could see you on an oboe.
I like Ulrika. I play guitar a little bit. I play guitar and I sing, but it's embarrassing. So I recorded myself once, thinking what it would, and it was all. I sounded like a busker who'd soiled his pants asking for help. It was just strained and painful and
on your guitar,
and it stank.
Daniel is leaving tonight on the plane.
Yeah, but I think it's that if I could play, I'd like to be able to play that properly.
On the guitar?
Yeah, or I'd like to play a little homemade instrument that I'd made myself that no one else can play, so they wouldn't know if it was any good or not.
What's it called, this instrument that you've designed?
The crename.
The crename?
Yeah.
I'd like to play the saw, would you, Jack?
That's clever, doing the saw.
It's a lovely noise.
Well, you're a bass player, aren't you?
Too right, I mean.
Any good?
No.
I've heard you.
I was in a band called Dog Dirt.
Would you like to play? Have you ever thought of playing anything else?
Apart from the
bass?
The bass. Yeah, I've thought about it, Vic, yeah.
Didn't continue with that then. All right, then, next question is from the isolated man there who appears to be diseased by some form of unidentified pox. What's your name and what's your question?
My name's Steve, and does the team think they might ever grace the music charts in the future?
Does the team think they'd ever grace the music charts in the future? Ulrika, you've just recorded your new LP, haven't you? On your guitar.
Oh, how embarrassing. No, I haven't.
Would you like to be a pop singer?
No. Never
Think you'd be
ever
any
had
good?
any aspirations.
Because you've got a sweet voice. We've heard you sing.
I can sing, yeah.
Pretty good.
But I've not got a great voice.
There's a couple of tracks that I'd like to record in the future. Have you heard of that classic song, She Sits Amongst the Cabbages and Peas? And there's another one which could be the B-side, Get the Meatballs Out, Mother. We're coming to a fork in the road.
That's good enough for me. Jack, you must have had numerous hit singles.
I have, you're right, and but the nature of things these days is nothing lasts. So I've never had anything in the charts long enough for people to actually register that I'm actually a rock star.
You and your synthesizer.
Yeah, you've heard it, and you know we've jammed and
your cape.
People don't know, but Jack is actually a wizard on the synthesizer.
I'm a bit like Rick Wakeman.
Yeah. He puts a sort of hat on with lots of light bulbs on it and plays a synthesizer to the ladies at Oxfam, and they love it. Well, right now to our final question. It's my own personal question. Should Christmas gifts be homemade? I think they should. From toilet rolls, for example, cling film on the end, and so it's like a telescope. You say, look, here's a telescope. But make them all out of toilet rolls.
I think they should all be wrapped in toilet rolls, Vic.
So, like, a sausage, you could put in a toilet roll and then...
In toilet paper, you know what I mean?
Don't you mean...
Instead of wrapping paper, use toilet paper.
Good idea.
Parents subconsciously uses the classy gold stuff for the big present. If they're all in toilet paper... I wouldn't make a homemade Christmas present because I get my head kicked in. You know, there are different gentler days when a Blue Peter gift could satisfy Vic.
What about you, Jack?
Here's a homemade computer game.
Yeah.
You know, no thanks, Dad.
I was once given a homemade kaleidoscope for Christmas.
Brilliant.
And, I got to tell you, I was gutted by that.
Who gave you it?
I didn't know I was clever. My wife. And she made a little stand for it as well, so it sits on your desk, ready for when you want to use it next.
That sounds lovely. What did she use for the coloured things inside? Butter beans or something?
Little bits of painted pasta, you know, dried up pasta that she stamped on and painted in different colours, and it was a terrible disappointment. the whole thing. And I had to leave it on a stand on the desk. She said, leave it there for the next time you want to use it. And I said, I'll be honest, there isn't going to be a next time that I want to use it.
What about you, Ulrika? Do you make homemade Christmas presents?
No, but my children do for me, so I
that's
get
lovely,
lots
isn't
of homemade things. It's lovely.
All Christmas presents in Sweden are made of wood, though, aren't they?
Yes, they have to. There's so much pine.
Yes.
Wood and heat.
I had a wooden
I'm playing
car
the
once,
stallion.
wooden steering wheel, wooden engine, wooden wheels, a wooden goal.
That's from the Christmas book of jokes that you got. Julian, you must make lovely... I can imagine Christmas around your house. You must invite me, in fact.
Oh, must I?
No, well, I'd like to... I'll just come and look through the window
I
then.
think you'd get on very well with my mother.
What are you going to do? Is you make homemade Christmas presents?
I don't know, but I think I feel quite inspired by your suggestion. Toilet rolls. Everything has to be made from toilet rolls.
Yeah, glue them all together, sellotape them all together, scaffolding for a builder.
See what you come up with. My dog's very partial to a toilet roll. If you give her one of those, it keeps her amused for ages. So that's a start.
If you look through a toilet roll, and I'm not kidding, time is in reverse.
What brand?
Like
Every
that.
brand?
Every brand of time. Well, that's about it for this week's edition of Does the Team Think? And people, I sincerely hope that you will take the information you've accumulated here tonight and dispose of it thoroughly in the bins provided. I know I will. Thank you and goodbye! That was Does